H-Town, hold it down. Welcome into Texans Today. I am Will Scott. Got a fun show ahead talking about some guys that might get extended. We're going to break down 5 extension candidates here on the Texans, and this comes just days after the Maliek Collins extension was official. Taking a look at the 3 names that have been extended this offseason. This does not include guys that were brought back in free agency. This is extensions. Laremy Tunsil was the first. We saw that massive deal that he got that shocked him. He negotiated on his own. That was a 3-year extension, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Shaq Mason, we figured an extension might happen with him after the Texans traded for him. That was an absolute steal of a trade. It was basically getting him in a 7th-round pick, giving up a 6th from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then Maliek Collins, that extension was reported last week. It was finalized the other day. That extension getting done, that was a 2-year extension. He got about $11.5 million per year. So we just saw those 3 guys get extended in the last couple of months. Who is going to get extended next? Let me know down in the comments section. Who do you think is going to get extended next? Could very well be Steven Nelson. And before this week, there was not a whole lot of extension buzz. But because he sat at OTAs a couple weeks ago, we're starting to hear more extension buzz when you're talking about Steven Nelson, who's coming off a really good first season with the Texans where he tallied 52 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 1 interception, a PFF grade of 66.7. Bleacher Report said this about Nelson. The 30-year-old started 15 games in 2022 and played 94% of the defensive snaps in those games. He finished with 52 tackles, a sack, 7 passes defended, and an interception, while allowing an opposing passer rating of only 80.5 in coverage. It remains to be seen how Nelson operates under new head coach DeMeco Ryans and defensive coordinator Matt Burke. However, extending Nelson now would ensure that Houston keeps a quality veteran leader on its defense for the foreseeable future. Now, the deadline to get an extension done here with Nelson is before training camp. If the Texans fail to do that, he is going to be, and this is the case with everybody, not just Nelson, but if they want to get an extension done, it has to happen before training camp. Otherwise, Nelson and the other players we're going to talk about will become unrestricted free agents next year. Now, Nelson sat out of OTAs. He wants an extension. It was even reported by KPRC that the reason Nelson sat out of OTAs is because he wants an extension. And I think the Texans should certainly prioritize getting an extension done here with Steven Nelson. I think having a veteran corner for years to come is going to really bode well for DeMeco Ryans in this defense. He can also be a mentor for Derek Stingley Jr. and some other young guys on this defense. But he is my top priority if you're talking about an extension. Will Steven Nelson, the veteran corner coming off his first year in Houston, will he get an extension? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comments section. Go down, chime in. Will Nelson get an extension? Let's talk about Tytus Howard. It's been a few weeks since we talked about the possibility of extending the 2019 first-round pick. Now, he's going to play on the 5th-year option this upcoming year. That option was picked up last offseason. He's coming off the best year of his career in 2022, a 67.9 grade. So when Nick Caserio picked up that option, I know it was kind of a mixed reaction amongst Texans fans. That ended up being 100% the right decision. That option was picked up last offseason. Maybe this offseason you extend your starting right tackle. Taking a look at this depth chart right now, Kenyon Green, hopefully he gets back healthy by camp. He'll start at left guard in his second year, I should say. Laremy Tunsil, he got extended. Shaq Mason, he got extended. So a couple of extensions this offseason on this Texans offensive line. Could Tytus Howard be next? I think it makes more sense to just pay Tytus after this season. I understand the risk allowing him to walk in free agency, but I want to see how he does this year. He's coming off one good season. You finally saw that potential from him last season, but I want to see how he does protecting C.J. Stroud as Stroud's right tackle this year. If he puts up another quality year, two straight really good seasons from Tytus Howard, then I think it makes sense to give him a lot of money next offseason. But We'll see what happens. I do not expect an extension to happen this offseason. I think it makes a whole lot of sense to just pay him when he becomes a free agent. I think Tytus would want to stick around in Houston. He really enjoys being a Texan. Let's talk about a corner now, another corner, I should say. That is Desmond King, your soon-to-be fourth-year corner. Taking a look at the depth chart right now, he is slotted to be your starting nickel back, and he's been pretty solid throughout his time in Houston. But if you're talking about a corner that is going to get extended, it's far more likely that they are going to extend Nelson. Now, I wouldn't count out a Desmond King extension, but I think they'd prioritize Steven Nelson instead. But we'll see what they can get done potentially with Desmond King. Big night for the Rockets. They got the number 4 overall pick in tonight's draft. We're going to be live on our Chat Sports main channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv, breaking down each and every single selection. Looks like Wembanyama's going to the Spurs. Scoot Henderson probably going to Portland. Maybe Brandon Miller to Charlotte. Where does that leave Houston with the number 4 pick? I expect them to take them in tops, and if they do, we're going to get you guys all the coverage you need, all the in-depth analysis surrounding that pick, or whoever the Rockets pick at number 4 overall. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. No commercial breaks. We're going to have you covered over on our Chat Sports main channel. Got to show some love to Ka'imi Fairbairn, the kicker, heading into the last year of his contract. Shout out to him. He gave up number 7 for C.J. Stroud. I believe he's going to be number 15, which is the number that he wore at UCLA. Coming off arguably the best season of his career. He did not miss a single extra point and made 93.5% of field goals. I do think it makes some sense to extend Fairbairn. I understand he's been a little bit inconsistent throughout his time in Houston. I kind of feel the same way about him that I do Tytus Howard. I understand he's coming off a good year, but it might make sense to just pay him next offseason. I don't think he would leave in free agency. I think he would stay if you give him a good deal. He didn't have a good year in 2021, so I'm a little bit hesitant to give him a lot of money now to remain the kicker here in Houston. But he is going into the last year of his contract. He's coming off a good year. Those two things make him an extension candidate. And then Jerry Hughes, the defensive end, he is heading into the last year of his contract with Houston. And he had a great year last year, 9 sacks that actually led the team. Jerry Hughes led the team in sacks last season. I don't think that's going to be the case again with Will Anderson coming to town. 35 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, a PFF grade of 71.4. He might have been the most underrated Texan last year. He was really, really solid along that defensive line. Who do you want the Texans to extend? I asked you earlier who's going to be next, but who do you personally want Houston to extend? Let me know down in the comments section. I know they've gotten some extensions done already. I do expect them to extend Steven Nelson here before the season, and I do think that's going to be the right decision.